All right, guys. So this is the question which Nishtay had put on the group. As you can see, there are four boxes here. That represents four numbers which we don't know. Adding these two gives us 8. Subtracting these two gives us 6. These two when added gives us 13, and these two when added gives us 8. Now, uh, how do you solve it? So I'm going to teach you a method which involves no guesswork and which involves maths in trying to understand how to solve this question. So let's get to it. But before we go to this very question, we have to learn something more about more in linear equations. Okay. So this year, that's in a class 8 standard. That's the last year. Sorry, you guys und- did some solving of equations. But if you remember, the equations which we solved only had one variable. For example, we had equations like x plus 5 is equal to 3, and we tried to solve it, and we got x is equal to 3 minus 5, x is equal to minus 2. Yeah, this is the kind of equations we solved this year. Yeah, there were a lot of complicated ones also, but they always had just one variable. The difference in that needs to be that we need to understand while solving questions like this is that we need more than one variables in this. As you can see, there are actually four variables in this. There are four different numbers, and all of them can be represented by a variable. So what we're going to do is, before we get to this very question, we're going to learn a very simple method of solving equations which has more than one variable. All right. So this method is called substitution method. Okay, so it's called solving linear equations by substitution, and I'm going to teach you that. This is a very simple thing, very easy to understand. Just keep your attention with me for the next 5 minutes, and then we're going to go and attack this question which Nishya sent us. All right. So this is so what I'm doing is I've written these two equations on the board. M plus n is equal to 5 and m plus 2n is equal to 19. All right. Now, when I mean that I want to solve these two equations, what I actually mean is that I need values for n as well as n, okay, one value for each of them, which will satisfy both of these equations. Which means when I put that value in this first equation, let me mark this for you. Let's call this equation number 1 and let's call this equation number 2. So when I put that value in the first equation, it should be true. Let's whatever my true left hand side and right hand side should be same. Same thing for the second equation. When I put the value of m and n, left hand side and right hand side should be the same. Now, when I say I'm solving this set of equations, this together from this set of equations, which means the same value should work for 1 also and for 2 also. Right? I can't take a different value for m in first equation and a different value for m in the second equation. Mind you, m and n value can be different. Okay, but m in both should be same and n in both should be same, and I should get that value. I need to find that value. All right. So this method is called the substitution method. There are a lot of ways to solve linear equations which have more than one variable. I'm not getting into that. We'll see them throughout the year. All right. But right now, very simple, very easy to understand method called the substitution method. Okay, stay with me here for 5 minutes. All right, let's get started now. So the first one. Okay, so first thing which I need to do is I need to express one variable as in the terms of another variable. All right, now this might sound a little confusing for you. What do you mean by expressing one variable in terms of another variable? Okay, be with me here. So I'm just going to take equation number 1 here. All right, I'm just going to take equation number 1 and I'm going to write it down again. So I am getting m plus n is equal to 5. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some adjustments in this variable, in this equation. Remember in your mind that any adjustment I make, left hand side and right hand side should be balanced. So if I'm adding, subtracting, same thing both sides, or moving this thing from that side, it becomes a minus sign if it's a plus sign here. All right, all that same thing which we learned in linear equations applies here also. Nothing changes in maths, only we keep on adding it and getting to new things. All right. So m plus n is equal to 5. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move n to this side. Okay. So I'm going to move n to this side. So what happens when I move n to this side? My left hand side just remains with m, okay? And my right hand side becomes 5 minus n. Are we good? Yeah, so my left hand side is just m and right hand side becomes 5 minus n. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to mark this equation as equation 3. Right? It's actually the same thing as equation 1, just written in a different form. Okay, now I have expressed m in terms of n. Okay, kind of like defined something in terms of the other. Now what I'm going to do is I know what n is. It is 5 minus n. Okay, I don't know it exactly, but I know in terms of n. So I'm going to take this third one. I'm going to put this value 5 minus n in place of m, which is in the second equation. Okay, place close attention to me. So I'm going to copy the second equation as it is. So m plus 2n is equal to 9. This is equation 2. Okay. In this equation, I'm going to put the value of m, what I got from 1. Okay, I got this from 1, so I'm putting this here. So 5 minus n plus 2n is equal to 9. So in place of m, as you can see, I've put 5 minus n. Are we good? Yeah, I hope it's very, very clear to you. You won't even start with putting with a bracket, but since there is no coefficient outside it, I did not put the bracket. If there was a coefficient, I would have put the bracket because I would have needed to multiply with this. Here the coefficient is 1, I don't put the bracket. So I got 5 minus n plus 2n is equal to 9. All right, now if you notice very, very carefully, this equation which we have got right now here, 5 minus n plus 2n is equal to 9, has how many variables? Just one. It's only n, here as well as here. Okay, so right now, what I'm going to do is, it's a simple solving linear equation in one variable, which you have learned this year. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to club up these two n's. I'm going to solve for n. I'm going to find the value of n from this variable, from this equation. All right, we're good. We'll solve the value of n from this variable. Okay, from this equation. So I'm getting to it. So what happens right now is 5. So I'm going to use these two together to find one coefficient of n. So this is minus, the coefficient here is minus 1, coefficient is plus 2. But I'm going to use, I'm just going to put a plus and put a bracket, write n outside. What I'm doing is taking n common from both of these. From here I get minus 1, from here I get plus 2. Left side is over, is equal to 9. Are we clear? So now what happens? It becomes 5 plus, this is plus 1, minus 1 plus 2, that becomes plus 1. So it is 5 plus 1 n is equal to 9. That is 5 plus n is equal to 9. Are we good with that? Okay, 5 plus n is equal to 9. Now what I need to do is I have to find the value of n. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides, or you can say take 5 to that side, either way you say it. So what I'm going to get right now is, I'm going here. So I'm getting n is equal to 9 minus 5. Are we good with that? So what I get is n is equal to 4. Okay. Now I have found the value of n as 4. What I just need to do is put it in equation 3. If I put this 4 in equation 3, I'm going to get the value of n. Are we good? Be clear? Because n is in terms of m. M is in terms of n. So I'm going to put this 4 in equation 3, and I get n is equal to 5 minus n. In place of n, I'm going to put 4. So n is equal to 5 minus 4. So n is nothing but 4, and you get m is equal to 1. Are we clear? So this is our solution. M is equal to 4 and m is equal to 1. Now these two things are giving us the solution for this set of variables. Are we good with that? This set of equations. Are we good with that? Yeah, you want to check? You can check once. So I'm just going to put m is equal to 1 and n is equal to 4 in both of these variables, both of these equations, equation 1 and equation 2. And I'm going to check if I get LHS and RHS as the same value. All right, let me do the checking here. Okay, so I'm just checking here. Okay. So checking the first equation. First equation, my LHS is m is 1, n is 4. So 1 plus 4, that's equal to 5, which is equal to RHS. Are we good? Yeah. First equation is true. Second equation, let's check this one. So m is 1 plus 2n. 2n is 2 into 4. That is equal to 1 plus wood mass. So I multiply first, I get 8. That is equal to 9. RHS is also 9. So my LHS is equal to RHS. Are we good with that? Okay, so this is my checking. Right? Are we good with that? Yeah. All right. So right now, so we good with this? Take a minute. If you want to go through the videos from the starting again, just do it. Okay. So the solution for this is n is equal to 4 and m is equal to 1. Okay. I say it's the solution. Just recapping it for you. I say it's the solution because when I put these values in these equations, I am getting these equations to be true in both cases. Okay, that is why I say these are the solutions of this variable, of this equation. Oh, okay. So what you're going to do right now is you're going to maybe watch this again. Okay, I'm going to rub this off. I'm going to put a new question for you. All right, before we go to this, okay, just a simple question which has two variables. You're going to try solving it by using substitution. Okay. Uh, let's take out your pens and papers and try solving this by using substitution. Very simple question. N plus n is equal to 8 and n minus n is equal to 2. Okay, this is your set of equations. I want you to solve this. Pause the video now and come back after whenever you're done and see if you get the same answer. I'm putting the answer also on the board. M is equal to 5 you should be getting and n is equal to 3 you should be getting. All right. So if you are not getting this, let me know. I might do a better explanation next time. Okay, let me know if you're not getting these answers. Try it out with substitution and then come back. Okay.